Good morning. Today is August the 26th. It is Saturday. We are in an area I call the center because if you look at the big blob of the green that this place is, this is kind of the middle of it, so hence the center. We were going to go to Manitou today. For whatever reason I don't care to explain, decided to go here instead. And it's been an interesting morning already because as I was driving by a couple of campsites, I'll spot him in at about 180 pounds. A bear was walking through looking for a free breakfast, but nobody was home, so he ran off into the woods. And I was camping in this area last 4th of July, breaking an age-old rule of mine, and damned if the same guy and the same pain-in-the-ass dog, no offense Diesel, but you're a pain, was there. And I looked over and, you're the same dog from last year, aren't you? And he was just as much a pain in the ass this year. So, no offense, Chris, but your dog is a little bit rambunctious, and you could probably work on that. So, we're here looking for some follow-up. We have found tracks in here in the past. We've gotten video of a moose in here, so it's an interesting enough area. We've already seen a bear for the day, so which I probably do have on the dash cam, so maybe I'll try to find a way to work that into the intro. That's about all I got for now. We're going to head in, see where we go, and let the day kind of take its own course, because that is where we are. Unlike last week also, just as a commentary, where it was actually downright cold by the end of the day. Today's actually in the low to mid 60s and quite nice. Bugs aren't too bad at this point in time. But the age-old reminder about bear mace and all that, because I actually have seen a bear, and he was big enough that if he wanted to be a problem, he could. So, but we're going to get going, and we'll see what happens. So come on along, we'll see where we are at the end. Thanks. Okay, we're back. We're going to actually make an attempt at a video today. We covered some ground and didn't really get to the video making portion, so we are actually heading back. We had a drone flight. I would like to thank Bucky the Beaver for wetting my feet, because everywhere where I can launch from at the lovely pond that will make up our intro and or outro was flooded by his handiwork. I don't know what it is about this particular summer, but where you've had dry land in the past, Bucky and friends have been very busy this year. Like what got in the water, so to speak, to make you guys so damn productive? And how dare you live up to your namesake, because my feet are all wet now. Anyway, so far today has been, pardon my ragweed-ridden little throat irritation thing. Before we even got to the trailhead, we had a drive-by with a bear, and he was in an area where there's a couple of cottages, which means he's probably been fed before and knows where the most food is. Just playing the odds. So with any luck, I got a decent shot of him in the in the dash cam as I brain fart, and we'll have a little bit of wildlife footage if nothing else. And then I ran into acquaintances from last 4th of July that I covered in the intro, Diesel and his buddy Chris. Diesel is a very exuberant puppy who probably could be socialized a wee bit better. Hopefully they're gone when I get back. Did I say that? Anyway, the guy himself, he's fine. The dog last year was a bit of a terror when I was camping out, and almost brought a different bear into camp when I was making sausage for dinner. But that was then, this is now. For Bigfoot related stuff, the community has been slacking yet again. Things that have come up are basically repeats. You have kind of a thread on on the BFF, the Bigfoot forums, where I don't disagree with the premise that if you are out in the woods and you are dressed up as Bigfoot during the middle of hunting season, you're not really proving to be the brightest bulb on the tree. But several people on the forum are basically advocating that it's okay to shoot the guy and then just leave him there and not do any due diligence after taking a person's life. And if you've ever been on the Bigfoot forums and gone to the effort to put in a donation to get access to the tar pit, you will realize what a bunch of knuckle-dragging psychos are on that site. That I did say, and I say that unapologetically. Sorry, not sorry. You guys are a bunch of goddamn freaking Neanderthals. And my apology to every Neanderthal anywhere for the insult. This is a place where they still have jackasses, and yes, I am going to use words that are not nice, because there comes a point where the same old chestnuts get rubbed off so many times that you got to wrap somebody in the head when they can't just let them fucking fall by the wayside and do their due diligence in the annals of history. But among these, the Jacobs bear. And yes, as much as people would desperately love to believe that it is not a bear, it's a bear. That ship has sailed. Melba Ketchum has tried to make a comeback of sorts, and the thing I don't get about these types in the community is they seem to think that we don't remember their past shenanigans. We do. And that goes for Todd Standing. We can throw Chris Noel in there. Because the next time you see a baby Bigfoot that's nothing more than a porcupine, yes, you do look as stupid as we're portraying you to be. Especially when I, right around the same time, had a video of a porcupine climbing a fucking tree that was identical to the photo you had, only mine was in crystal clear daylight photo perfect fucking video, and it was a porcupine, clear as day. You want to be a wishful thinker and think it's something else, but this is the same guy who wrote a 100-plus page book about stick structures without explaining any context of what he thinks they mean, which means he got really bored one day and went out in the woods with a sketch pad or camera, and he took pictures of basically piles of sticks in the woods. So walk through here, I'll go slow, pick out all your stick piles and have a field day. Go to Amazon, self-publish your book, and make your first million or don't. I tend to suspect you're going to come up a little bit empty if that's your goal. That's just me. Oh, who else can we throw in there? There's so many, that's the thing. Mark Abel is not even worth mentioning, because with his Rocky Mountain Bigfoot City in the clouds, which was nothing more than a foggy picture of Denver, or anybody of his ilk, stop wasting our time. You are the white noise, and the white noise is unproductive. And I mean, if you're truly into the woo and you believe, I'll happily hear you out when you show me something of any substance. That is yet to happen. So we were going to go to Manitou today, but I don't really have a reason why I didn't. I came to the middle instead. I made a choice as I was entering Vermont that there would be a change in plans, because I hadn't been in here yet either. And so far today, I'll give you we're on a trail where no vehicles are allowed, other than like a bicycle, because somebody at one point came in through here with a dirt bike or a mountain bike or something. But beyond that, it's like what you see me doing. And the walk I went on today took me about an hour and 5 minutes one way so far. It does go further because I walked. I mentioned my friend Diesel and Chris last 4th. I went on a hike on this thing and wanted to see how far it would go. And I dare say I hiked one way probably a good 2 hours and didn't hit any trail's end. So these trails go for a while, which is why I like it out here, because quite honestly, it doesn't get old. You're not going to run out of territory out here. So we've covered the white noise. That was inevitable. The BFF has a thread advocating murder, or at least covering up a murder. That's nice. And what else? I guess the continuing gripe that Matt Moneymaker is kind of like not minding the store, and ain't nothing new on the BFF. Hello, Toad. Saw a little toad. So, I don't go there that often anyway, but when I did, and you go to the recent additions to the sightings data, the flats database, for like the last 6 months, there's like 2 accounts, and it's not because the reports aren't there, it's because I would argue that like I said, the store is not being minded. And I actually know a few people on the inside of said organization, and they are not disagreeing with this notion. He is more into TV these days, this being the moneymaker, and he is, so to speak, more into shaking his moneymaker than minding the store that some people like to keep up with. So again, maybe it's time for him to do the TV thing and pass the torch to like some kind of council of curators or something. So, because the thing about the BFF that kind of makes it a conundrum for me, on the one hand, I don't like the for-profit thing, but that could be handled better, admittedly. But also, the leadership has always been kind of the focal point of problems, at least as far as I'm concerned. But it's like at this point it is hardly the only quote-unquote scientific organization, because again, I know people in the group. And when you have a group as large as the BFRO, it runs the gambit of personality types, as one might imagine. And there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are very good, dedicated people. There are Chris Noels, who are crackpots, in my opinion. And Chris, if you can't take a joke and you're watching this, fuck you, get over it. Go kiss a porcupine, see how you make out, bud. Sorry, he was rude to me on Facebook one time, so payback being what it is and all that. But being the size that it is, it has amassed a shit ton of information, much of which they sit on. And if you sit on it, nobody can make use of it, and there's no contribution towards the greater goal, which I presume to be a solution to the mystery. If you're just going to milk it forever and it's all about money, then, well, different motivations. But that is what it is. So, next week, a person and I who were out a couple of weeks ago are going to regroup in an area where, as we were walking out, we had some potential activity-related shenanigans that happened where something, we'll leave it at that, dropped the tree to make noise and then ran off. I heard the tree fall. The other guy heard and saw something out of the corner of his eye. So there is some potential activity in the area to follow up on. We'll be doing that. Given that it's a long weekend, we're both going to take advantage of said long weekend and do an overnight situation and go from there. And I think at this point I will probably end up taking a segment break, because I've covered all the relevant things I can think of at the moment, and if something else occurs, I'll come back on and we'll cover that as well. But right about now, aside from the funk being my brother, I think it's time for a segment break, and we'll be back in a bit. And mosquito, get away from my camera. Again, back in a bit. Okay, this is where I guess we wrap things up. It's just a quiet day out here. Quiet week is a quiet week. I will put the dash cam back on the way out. Maybe we'll see the bear again. We'll allow for that, but it's about all we got. So like, subscribe, put a thumbs up and the bell thing, and write any comments you feel that are pertinent. Until next time, thanks for watching. Hopefully you like what we did. If you'd like to see something else, leave a suggestion. But until then, we'll catch you next time. Bye.